Discussion. Can't you see them dad boys are casting? Testing competition on their podcast mission. Never know what you get. It's chaotic precision. If you don't know, you better find out the dad pack. Are here to prove a point. We three kings just believe that you don't want to tussle with them. This show is thunder. Subscribe and tune in, and you're laughing to the very end. Don't turn your back on the dad pack. Don't turn your back on the dad pack.
Put the kids to bed. Dad's home. We are the dWo podcast, representing the dad world order, where the jokes are bad, the advice is questionable, but the love is all real. I am the pretty face papa, Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. And with me, as always, the rest of this patriarch pack. We've got the big bad bearded daddy. He is Big Rig Eric Maffey.
Oh, prepare me, baby. Let's go.
And he is the perpetual mid-carder and the two-time world record holder. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephas.
Cowabunga, indeed. It's day 1348 of the record, and I'm trying a new angle here with the camera. I don't know, man. I just want to fill the screen more. You guys got them fancy eye cameras. I got this little Cabrio Logitech or some shit.
I am very thankful for my built-in camera and not having to buy one. It's pretty awesome.
And it's also nice that your camera is kind of placed where you look, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like you're looking. Sometimes I feel like I'm just like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Sometimes I sit and look like, why am I not blinking? Why am I not blinking?
I've noticed myself before, like when I talk, I'll tend to I close my eyes and I'm like, just look at the fucking camera. Like, what are you doing? I'm trying to get better at that, but it's a work in progress. But anyway, as Mr. Magnificent said, we are the dWo podcast, and tonight we are back with another Because I Said So. Tonight, talking about a very hot topic when it comes to being a parent, and that is the birds and the bees talk. Hello, Murphy. How are you? Do you want in on this conversation?
Dun, dun, dun.
I like birds. Bees are assholes, though.
Bees are assholes, yeah. All right, go on.
Birds are delicious.
I know you guys want all the attention. I love you too. Yeah, this is I was seeing this on our schedule coming up. I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I haven't had that talk yet. So I'm going to be pretty much an active audience member up in this bitch. So I'll have my opinions, but I have no frame of reference on giving this talk.
Yikes.
Yeah, we just recently went through this. So I have very fresh memories. And Mike's done it a few times in the past. So we have different perspectives tonight for sure. But that leads... First off, before we go into the first question, let's say what up. What up, Brian? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Brian?
We got a couple other people.
Always a pleasure to have you on board.
Tuning in here tonight. A few people messaging. When is the show starting? Right now. Anyways, the first question. Did you yourself get a birds and the bees chat? And if so, at what age? And do you have memories of it? Eric, what say you?
In a way, I didn't get a full blown. I kind of got multiple of them, and I'll explain. So, the first one I got was when I woke up one day, and all of a sudden I had hair down there, and I was like, "Yo, what the heck?" I swear it felt like it happened overnight. It was wild, and kind of told my dad about it because I'm like, well. If anybody's gonna know, he will. And he kind of sat me down and he was like, okay, well, this is all totally normal. And had a little bit of a talk like, do you, have certain thoughts when you see women and stuff like that? Does, stuff happen? And I was like, yeah, it does. And he was like, okay, it's totally, normal. But that was really kind of the extent of it. There was no other explanation. I kind of found out about, I'm trying to think how to phrase this and not sound crude. Like this one time I was jerking my gherkin, and I found out about that totally by accident. I was like, why didn't nobody tell me about this? Like, what the fuck? So
Flogging the Molly.
yeah, that came out of nowhere. And then got this was back in the days of dial-up internet. Got caught looking at some lewd pictures on the computer, and
hey, that took 25 minutes to load.
Yeah, well, I got caught because I was the only one home, and my dad tried to call the house, and yeah, he was like, "Well, Eric's on the internet." Yeah, I yanked the plug out of the wall, dude. My computer was froze up. I was
Oh my gosh.
He knew. But that was a talk of like, that's not how you should view women and stuff like that, so that was a good talk, because I didn't really have any other talk up to that point. He was like, that stuff's out there. It's not great for you. So I'm like, all right, cool. But I never really got a full-fledged like, hey, let's sit down. This is what happens here and there. And, I just kind of figured it out in bits and pieces.
Any input from moms at all, or was it all dad?
No, I have never had any kind of conversation like that with my mom.
Mike, what about you, dude? What was your, how'd you learn?
What's funny is I remember from a very, very young age, like my grandma using the phrase KYP, IYP, and that's keep your in your pants. KYP, IYP. And, if I'm being honest, like when I was going through kind of like those times, of
Becoming
puberty and whatnot, I didn't have a father figure in my life at the time. So I had an older cousin who was, a couple years older than me, who I hung around with a lot and kind of clued me into stuff. Probably not in the best way, just we had classes about it in school though. I mean, about like, I guess the science of it all.
Back.
You're good.
But I never had, not that I can remember having that kind of official talk with any parental figure.
Yeah, buddy. Even the cousin you have there, like I wish I'd had any of what either one of you said, because it was like I was fucking ghosted. I first found out about sex by accidentally finding a porn and wondering what the hell I was watching and not understanding what I was watching at all whatsoever. And I never once had my mom say anything. I didn't meet my dad till I was 16, so it was obviously too late by then. But I never had any direction. Like I was always like alone on that island in a way. Like I had to figure shit out on myself. I remember like to the extent like I didn't even know what words were. Like I remember I called someone a cocksucker just because I had heard someone say that phrase before. And then like a few days later, I was reading a book that something explained and used the word cock. And I was like, they mean a dingus. I didn't know that. Like I didn't know that I didn't know that's what that meant. So I had no talk at all whatsoever. I feel like I would have benefited from it for sure. I like you. I didn't have much of a father figure, and the ones I did were spotty, and they sure as fuck weren't about to be like, all right, well, let me sit old Jimmy Jr. down, and I don't know. is definitely something that I think I lacked in for sure. That brings up the second question. What age do you think it's appropriate to bring up this topic? Do you think that you should have learned at a younger age? Do you think that what's your stance on this, Mike? What do you think?
I think once they start going through puberty is when those talks start happening. Because, like I said, I really haven't had that talk yet. I've had kind of a talk about, like, hey, this is what happens when you start going through puberty, and you're going to have to, going through. I had like the going through changes talk, but I haven't had the, hey, this is what happens when two people get together talk yet.
Yeah.
But I think that is in my opinion, the appropriate time to, hey, you're going to start feeling some things, and this is what you need to know.
I think that might be a very appropriate answer, man. I think that might be the best when it's ready. Because it's also difficult too, because say you have a child that doesn't hit puberty till early 13. You know what I mean? By that time, there's other people in their class. Because I was a young bloomer myself. I think I officially started getting hairs and stuff at like 10. I was a young puberty guy. So. But a lot of people aren't. So is there like I don't know, is there almost like a threshold that you have to, all right, we need to get this out of the way?
I think it depends kid to kid though, because I mean some kids are more mature at certain ages, and are have that that mindset, whatever that switch is that flips in your head that says, oh my gosh, I need this kind of I need these kind of feelings in my life now. I need this kind of attention. Is not there for all kids, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I got a nephew who's like a sophomore, and he, girls are the furthest thing from his mind, and me, I was freaking girl crazy from the time I was in kindergarten on, I feel like.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like too.
Not that that's a good thing.
It's different kid to kid. But it also can be a thing where your kid comes home to you and has a question like, Susie said this at school today, and it's something, sexual or, a word, a phrase, whatever. I feel like having the talk then and getting out ahead of it, and them hearing about it, all of it from you rather than, I mean, the kind of shit we came up with when we were in school, you know what I mean? And you don't want them hearing some crazy shit from some kid in their class. I'd rather they know the truth from us.
Just don't Google it.
Yeah.
Imagine us plus internet back then.
Couple comments real quick. What's up, Mr. Troma King? He says he learned about it from the Brady Bunch.
Hey, Marsha.
This is the first time I've seen my Aunt Mickey commenting. No, Papa never told me anything. He never told me shit. But you gotta remember, Mickey, I left Nanny and Papa's house when I was like 7 years old. And then I moved to Texas. You know what I mean? So like there was no time for Papa to tell me. And then our homie Castro.
What's up, Castro?
What up?
And there's Mr. Justin as well. How you doing?
Hey.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't be a show without you, buddy.
But yeah, man, I was so lost for the longest time. You talked about when you first found out, self-care, for lack of a better term. For me too, it was just like, what the fuck is this? What happened?
Dude, it scared me. Legit.
Yes.
It legit, like when I was about to, I stopped myself because I was like, oh, I'm going to die or something. Like it was, what is happening? I had no clue.
Yeah, there's definitely, you got to explain things. And that's also tough, man. It's going to get into one of the questions we got later exactly is how much do you explain too, Speaking of which, let's pull our next question up. How do you, when you're having these conversations, do you allow there to be laughter? How do you handle awkward words and situations? Because And, we were all 10-year-old boys ourselves. The second someone talks boobies and penises and all that shit, you're going to get a goofy kid or a kid that wants to shut down because their parents are talking about penises. How do you just approach that or what?
I feel like you gotta. I haven't had this talk yet, but I feel like you gotta allow a little bit of laughter. Maybe it's not a joke the whole time because obviously it's a very serious topic, but you can't vilify it the whole time, and not allow them to any, other emotion than I have to take this super seriously. Yeah. But I would go with, using the most normal words possible for it, like this is a woman's breast, this is a man's penis, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't go being like, hey, these are the Tates and these are, not the way to go in my opinion. But obviously I am not the expert on this. That's just my thoughts.
Well, I've strike with honesty. I always do. I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, when my sister passed away, my kids learned exactly why my sister passed away. You know what I mean? And I feel like the more blunt of an explanation you give, and the more legit you are, the more profound their experience can be. You know what I mean? And I think I approach everything that way. A little bit of laughter, like you said. Like even if you're grounded or something, you know what I mean? There's got to be some kind of, I don't know, like brevity to it. I don't like to be just serious Sam the whole time, I don't know. Get some more.
What about you there, Mike? What do you think? I mean, you're the one that's had the talks, so.
Well, I'd say my kids are older. I don't know that I've necessarily had the talk, especially when it came to the girls. Jess, my wife usually handled a lot of that stuff. Again, I've talked about the first time the Reds came to town for one of the daughters, and me like, babe, wake up. I already had a talk. She knows what to do. Okay, and then my older daughter, passed knowledge down to my younger daughter. So some of that was, relayed. And again,
right.
Things, you look back and you think you always wish you could handle things differently. But that being said, we always have, for a long time, have had a very open, honest kind of communication with the kids.
Yeah.
I think
when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Important though, because you talk about Jess said she already had the conversation with her. Jess is a girl too, you know what I mean? So I think that it's almost important that the conversation is led by the same gender for that gender. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Someone who's been through those exact same things,
right?
Those exact same urges. I feel like it's important to have that experience behind it.
At least get both perspectives.
Yeah, and I've kind of had that talk with, because mine's starting to go through puberty, and she knows what all happens when, that eventually hits full, when the Reds do come to town, she knows what to do. And I told her, like, I know everything that happens, but the best thing about our family is we have so many wonderful women in our family that no matter, because she was kind of nervous about like, oh, what if it happens here or there, whatever. I'm like, no matter where you are, you're going to be taken care of. You have so many, Danielle's here. If you're at, Mimi and Pawpaw's, if you're at one of your aunt's house, like you're good.
As long as it doesn't happen at school. Good night.
Well, and I even told her that too. I was like, we'll make sure we send you with stuff and, your teachers will be able to handle it and all that. So.
A couple comments here. Mr. Troma King says, yeah, you have to make things approachable, so there's going to be jokes. But there needs to be serious time about it, and they need to know when they can come and talk to you. Mm-hmm. And then Casper said his dad used a lot of humor in movies and shows to help break the ice. Thanks, Baywatch.
Right.
Baywatch was great. And amen. God bless the lady folk. They're we call it a resource for sure. Next question here. How in depth does the chat go? are there stages? And what I mean by that is, yeah, we tell, like you said, that you said you've had the conversation about this is what happens to your body, but you've not had the conversation about this is what when two people's bodies get together. When that comes to that too, do you also explain gay and straight? Like how far do you go initially, and how do you break into the more, not difficult, but more intricate, I guess, the more intricate stages of sex and gender and stuff like that, especially in this day and age, man? Because I mean, you guys look at where we came from. When we were younger, gay people in our classes didn't get treated so nice, and now
Mm-hmm.
there's still a lot of them that don't get treated so nice, but it's a different era than it was from where we grew up. It's way more accepting, which is great, but there's also still that level of hatred. You know what I mean? There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that fear the unknown type shit. You know what I mean? So how do you approach that? When do you approach that? What do you think?
I I actually already had this conversation because I was asked about it, like what is this?
Yeah.
And I'm like you on that front, Steve, where you just you're just be honest about it. There's no, why would I hide anything about that? Those are people they're going to encounter, and you know asking about, like, well, what's what is what does L mean? What does G mean? What does B mean? All that. And I just explained it to her. And she's like, well, what about like trans? Like, what does that mean? And I said, and I'm not, so I can't fully explain it, but I can explain what I know.
Yeah.
And I have friends that are, so I just explain, like, this is a person that believes they were born in the wrong body. This is who they are. That's how you treat them, what they want to be called as. And she's like, oh, okay. It's pretty simple. Like, it's, I don't know. I just feel like honesty is the best policy with that one. And just treat people the way you want to be treated. That's what I always teach my kid.
That was a question again.
The question was how
When?
far do you take
How
it?
depth? Okay. I definitely think like it comes in stages, and I kind of think that's what you guys are already talking about is, explaining kind of the physical changes, and then there is, the emotional stuff that comes with it too. And it's, it's as
Go.
I think it'd be kind of overwhelming to have all those talks all at once, right? So it's, to break it up as to when it feels appropriate, when you get an inkling that they're, are interested or curious, to have, the pertinent conversation to that subject matter.
That brings like a part two to that question. What about the scary stuff? What about people taking advantage of people? What about teaching them safety and rules and self defense, for lack of a better term? Is that something you bring up immediately because there's those risks involved with this particular world, or is that something you try to save for a later stage?
I mean, I feel like it's always something I've kind of taught is, keeping yourself safe. And it's a little bit of a different conversation once you're having this conversation, because it's like, it may not be a stranger. It may be somebody you like that takes advantage of you. So you kind of got to teach that, version of it. Like, not everybody that's nice to you is going to really be nice to you. And you got to, kind of have your guard up. So I feel like that's a conversation maybe you don't have right away. But I would say probably before they get into high school. Because, I mean, I went to high school. I know what, people get up to. And that would be my opinion on that, is just, making sure. And it doesn't have to be super like, we need to go take self-defense classes, but just teaching them when a situation is bad. What are red flags to look out for? You can all, And that's another thing. We've talked about this multiple times. You can call me anytime. I don't care where you are. I'm not going to be mad at you. You call me.
Even if I seem aggravated because you woke me up, do it anyways.
Yep.
Like, as a dad, there's nothing more terrifying than being a girl dad. I don't like boy dads is one thing, you know what I mean? You have to worry about him breaking arms and being a gentleman, you know what I mean? But with girls, it's so scary because you can raise them to be the most rule following, prim and proper young lady possible, and the wrong fucking I mean, there's stories in the news right now that we don't got to go into that we all know what I'm talking about. But there's moments where you think you should be safe where you're not safe. And that's something that I feel like you said, it's almost at every stage of your life in a way, because when kids are little, you need to tell them, hey, if somebody does something to you, and you need to make sure you're telling mommy and daddy if you have any weird situations that you feel weird about or anything, you know what I mean? Like, tough line, but it's
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, it's, you almost got to start spoon feeding them that in a way they can understand from early on, because that kind of stuff happens to kids of all ages. You know what I mean? So you can never be too careful. And it's not like, hey, strike fear in their heart or anything, but just make them aware that if they're don't like a feeling, that they can come talk to you about it.
Yep.
Like Castro says here, I believe this conversation threads throughout many subjects, but especially the birds and the bees. When you're in this conversation, it's definitely something that you need to bring up. But
honestly, this one too. Boy dads need to teach their boys about respect and consent early. I think that is the thing. As soon as they, honestly, even before puberty, you know what I mean? Like, boys tend to be a lot, rougher and, can't keep their hands to themselves. Just teaching them to keep their hands to themselves is a form of teaching them consent early, I think.
Yeah. It's a different approach. I definitely noticed that, raising Lincoln after, having daughters, it's definitely a different a different world. But was it the same for you, Mike? Was it different for, your younger one versus your older ones? Because you did the same thing as I. You did 2 girls and then a boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you
definitely different. The conversations are different. I've had to have conversations after the fact sometimes, unfortunately. But it's a subject matter we've already brought up. Like, hey, there's a lock on your door for a reason. But man, I lost my train of thought.
It's scary too, man, because hormones can really change how you're thinking as a young man. And a lot of the things that we said and did weren't always, above board, because we weren't taught things like we are in this day and age. And it's like I had to learn a respect for women via myself, because no one ever really taught me that, you know what I mean? And I remember learning that through dating, and just, I remember, like, I hate to make myself seem like a young dumb idiot when I was a kid, but I remember just thinking like sex was like a mandatory thing. When you're a boyfriend and girlfriend, it had to happen. You know what I mean? And I remember not even understanding like how the process worked, but I knew that it was supposed to be a part of the process. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I remember when I first got like a real girlfriend. It was 4th grade. I remember having, I felt like Butters. Like, oh no, I have to have sex now. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I remember being terrified, like thanking God that, oh God, I didn't have to do that. Okay, thank God. I was more scared to death than anything. I see a lot of people in the comments here. We already brought that one up, but this right here, my boy will definitely get taught respect. That is absolutely absolute. You have to set the example. You know what I mean? I try, even like arguing with the wife. We've been trying to make conscious efforts to take any arguments to a private area. You know what I mean? Just so the kids don't see that. So I don't know. There's a lot of give and take. How do you battle misinformation though from schoolmates and social media? Do you try to preemptively attack things, or do you just wait till you hear some stuff, or is that something that
I've always preached, don't believe everything you read. You know, my grandma told me, you know, don't believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see. So, yeah, just
That's a
there's a lot
tough
of
one now because there's so many things that, you know, and the girls come home from school and there's a new slang term that I have no idea what the fuck it is. And we're, on social media all the time, but we're on two different levels of social media. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what the hell 6'7" means for the life of me.
6'7".
I have no idea. Not a clue. You know what I mean?
never even heard that.
I don't really think with
Eric,
how fast
it comes between 66 and 68.
True. Thank you.
6'7".
Gotcha.
Thank you. I don't think there's a way to get out in front of it. You know what I mean? The information in the trends and everything, it just comes way too fast. But if you hear something alarming or that bothers you, then you have to sit your kid down and have a conversation, obviously. But yeah, that would be my thoughts on it.
Dude, so much of me is like hindsight 2020. Again, looking back, wish you would have handled things differently. But I think this goes right along with kind of instilling an open communication line, or early on to you have certain feelings about things. Let's talk about it.
Well, Mike, that brings up the last question we got here for the day. How do you make yourself available and approachable? What do you do? Do you literally tell your kids, "Hey, I'm here for this"? You know what I mean? Or do you just try to start
Follow through.
many conversations, or follow
Yeah.
through?
Just follow through, man. Just be there, be an open ear, actually listen when they're talking. You know what I mean? Don't be distracted, and show them your attention.
And don't, they may tell you things that you don't want to hear or may upset you. Don't punish them for that, because then they're not going to tell you anything.
Yeah.
And just being honest with them, to a point. I'm not saying you guys got to be peers, but, giving them the trust of, hey, I'm going to share this information with you. They are like, oh, okay, my dad, mom, whatever, trust me enough. I can trust them with what I have to say.
I think it goes down to the comment Justin just made here in the comments.
Yep.
It's something similar on a different topic, but it's much better to teach your children to be able to make good decisions rather than to prevent them from being in a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to run into bad situations. Even if you try to steer your ship as straight as possible, one day a meteor is going to fall. You know what I mean? At some point, some way, whether that's a metaphor or a legit meteor. It's up to you to learn how to teach your children to be ready for such situations.
Yep. I had an uncle that said that to me before I had my first child. Was you can't always be with your kids, so you have to teach them to make good decisions. That way, they can do that when you're not there.
And this comment here, like, I always give my sister shit because she's a big-headed nerd, but she says right here that she used to go to me about everything and anything, and I was her therapist when she was younger. I'm still that for her in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? And any person who doesn't have someone in their family needs someone like that. Like, for example, I'm gonna let them be nameless, but I have a cousin who came out to me first. You know what I mean? And he's one of my, like, the fact that he came out to me was just like, thanks, man. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, thank you. Like, I like that you love me that much because you knew I would support you for who you are. I think that's important.
And it just makes you feel like you're doing something right, because it's like, well, they trust me that much, to tell me that, and to be the first one to tell. Like, that would make me feel really good, knowing that that's the level of trust and the energy that I give off and put out. That I'm a safe, trusting person to share that information with.
I think it's akin to like when you have like a feral kitten and it finally pets you back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Be trustworthy as a father, for sure. That is accurate.
That's the thing, man. My kids know. My wife and I have a great conversational relationship. You know what I mean? Like we explain things and we understand things, and my kids, I feel like, know that no matter what it is, they can come to us. I feel like they know that dad will help them hide a body more likely than mom would, but they know that mom would be better at it. So,
For sure.
hey, I'm definitely down to do it. Mom's gonna judge and help. It comes back, Justin.
Yeah, it comes in waves, man.
Yeah. There's been times where I've completely written my parents off, and now like my mother and I legit look forward to talking to my mom on the phone. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, it's definitely it does come in waves. Like it hit me just this past year because Em kind of went into this mode of. I mean, we used every day after school. We used to hang out and do stuff and everything. And now she's just like, I just want to go to my room and listen to music. And I'm just like,
Like I want to play Monopoly or Uno.
There's just something, But she did come down here right before the pod. We were watching a show together, so that was nice. I was very appreciative of that.
I say Mikey still comes down, and we just sat and him and his best friend and me and Jess sat and played a board game Sunday night.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's awesome. Love it.
How's she liking the new sport, Eric? She digging it?
Softball?
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it. She killed it on Saturday. Went 2 for 3. Had an RBI. Scored a run herself. Dude, killed it.
Hey,
She's doing so good. It is pretty crazy because she is a full head taller than anybody else on her team.
She's that kid.
She's batting cleanup for sure.
Did you get her some big league chew?
I'm about to for the next game.
You got to. It's a must.
But yeah, she loves it. She's excited to go to practices and games, so it makes me really happy. And then,
oh yeah,
so that happens every Saturday. And then on Sundays, she's doing horseback riding. And I took her this past Sunday, and man, that was. You want to feel stressed and proud at the same time. Watch your 9-year-old lead a 1,000+ pound beast out of a stall by herself. Dude, I was like, there's no, what? No, she can't do what?
No.
And then she just, here we go. Like it was wild.
No fear.
She's loving that. And it's just, I love seeing her doing things that she just seems to love and, can thrive in doing. So.
Justin, fear has no age. Hey, I'm still terrified of rabbits, and I'm 36.
My mom got kicked by a horse like real bad when she was younger.
I'm legit phobic over rabbits. When Chris and I started dating, I realized she was addicted to animals. I was like, look, that's fine. And you can do whatever the fuck you need to, but you're not allowed to bring a fucking rabbit in this house. And I made sure that it was extremely clear. Anicula fucked me up for life. So, be careful what you let your kids read. Hell, reading's how I learned the birds and the bees. Reading fucking old horror novels and shit. Yes, that's where I learned a lot of things. Tim's wife is afraid of moths. See, it's not.
They're spooky.
I know a rabbit can't kill me. I could kick to death most rabbits. You know what I mean? But I don't want one. You know what I mean? I'm addicted to animals.
You're grounded. Just for that, I just found a whole litter of kittens.
She just brought in a new cat right now. It's going to be a foster care. I don't know if you guys have seen us post about it, but it's got EHS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And basically, it has like Shar-Pei skin, but for a cat. And
wow.
Yes. And I don't know, I'm obsessed with it. He's the coolest little fucking thing ever.
Interesting.
Hold on. I gotta upload this real quick because I need you guys to see this too. Hang on, where's it at?
He said there's no good way to get kicked by a horse. Indeed.
Caitlin, you bring a fucking rabbit to my house. I will wait till the second you give birth, and then I will slap you. You know what? Your face ain't pregnant. I didn't slap her before.
Just keep thinking of, was it a Monty Python movie where there's like a rabbit that a killer rabbit like attacked him?
Yeah, that was Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay.
Yep.
I just don't like rabbits, man. I don't know. Phobia, I guess that's what a phobia is. It's irrational fear. I know that I didn't elbow you, I smacked you. And it was an accident. This one time, for the record, since she brought this up, and Eric's still pulling his photo up, me and Caitlin were in the backseat of a car. I was 15, she was 1. She was in a car seat. And Justin was in the front passenger seat. And he told me a joke that was funny. I can't for the life of me remember what it was, but my first reaction was to just reach out and slap the person next to me. But I didn't realize that it was my 1-year-old sister, and I smacked her in the fucking face.
Ooh.
I did. She literally she was just kind of like, what do you
What
do?
the hell, man?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. This is it's a video actually. Here you go.
Good. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. You can't go anywhere if you're not going anywhere. There we go.
That's
Like,
fucking cool.
What?
It's like we said, man. You spend this whole time building these fucking kiddos over, and then you have to trust that the fucking let them out in the world. It's so scary, man.
Yeah.
Like,
it makes me happy because I can tell it's really like both things that she's doing right now are really like confidence boosters because she's not timid about them. She's just getting in there and doing it.
And confidence comes from good raisins. You know what I mean? And that goes to show you, even though you and her mother are separated, you guys both are very active and very good at co-parenting. So it helps, you know what I mean? And it shows that it's very possible.
It is. It absolutely is.
Example.
No, I was not horsing around at all.
Well, boys, we got a couple really cool things on the horizon coming up. We got our first vacation in a while coming up. October 16th starts our Halloween break. We have a really cool guest on October 16th, though. We have the Phantom AD. If you guys aren't familiar with Phantom AD, he is a horror movie musician. And if you don't know what that means, just know that he's going to be obscure. He's going to be fun. He's going to be a lot like the Weird Al or Weird Paul episode. It's just like a really neat, eccentric person. And he's going to end the Halloween for us. And then we got a jam-packed schedule already starting to fill up after that. We're going to end this year with a bang, take a month off, and then come back in January with a fresh coat of paint. We got a lot of shit planned. But with that being said, it's going to be an early episode tonight, boys. We already got through all our questions here.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to artificially extend any one of these because I said so. Just let them flow natural.
Absolutely.
An hour, but sometimes 43 minutes and 49 seconds is all we really need.
Felt like we covered a lot of good stuff there.
We did, man. I feel like it's I don't know. It's just important that final thought wise, it's important that you are very open with your kids, and you kind of will know when it's the right time.
I think it's just important to just, no matter how you have the conversation, in what form or manner or place or time, have the conversation. Because like someone said earlier in the comments, it seems like nobody's having these conversations anymore, and the kids are just being fed misinformation. Whether it be from websites, media, social media, whatever the case may be. You're battling a whole army of misinformation. Yep. So, just have the conversation. It's uncomfortable for everybody involved, but you'll feel better at the end. Maybe not immediately, but maybe 30 10, 15 years down the road like me.
Yeah. Justin said he feels artificially extended.
But,
Oh,
You know what? Sometimes that's
is that a
nice.
thing? It's a game of inches.
That's right.
no bunny,
Um,
Justin.
That's right, baby. Well, boys, been another fun one. Glad to see you. I'm sorry I will not be here on Thursday.
Which, by the way, boys and girls, I have been working very, very hard on a script. So if you're a fan of Dad World Order podcast, as much as it sucks that Eric's not going to be here for the first time for a conspiracy episode, we are going to do 9/11 on 9/11. We're going to talk about what actually happened, what the official story is from the 9/11 Commission, and we're going to bring up points of contention and discuss them in a very respectful way, a respectful manner. We don't want to disrespect anybody or disrespect the situation. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we approach it in the most professional manner possible. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna be out of town for a wedding, so
Yeah.
boop bop bip. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But as always, we have been the dWo podcast. I am Big Rig Eric Maffey. He is Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephas. You can check us out on all the socials at dWo_podcast, Facebook at the dWo podcast, TikTok at dWo_pod. Get that dad merch at Pro Wrestling Tees, TeePublic, or message us directly. And until next time, top dads.